My name's Weston Wilson. I play for the Baltimore Orioles, and I'm a utility player. I started playing baseball when I was 4 years old. My parents put me in a t-ball league at the YMCA, and from that day on, just kind of fell in love with the game and played it all the way up till now. I grew up in a Christian household, going to church every Sunday. Parents really trying to raise us the way that they believed would be good for us. I would say at the time, I was on board with it. I did not like going to Sunday school. My brother and I would always fight with my parents about having to go to class. But I think always in my heart, I knew it was the right thing. But yeah, grew up in a Christian household, and it's kind of led me to where I'm at now. Brother had cancer. He was probably 11 years old, I believe, and we're 18 months apart. So close in age, always played on the same teams growing up, playing sports against each other in the house. But yeah, I got cancer the first time, and the prognosis was pretty good, do chemo and radiation and you should be fine. Obviously with cancer, there's never a guarantee, but went into remission, and then the cancer came back, and I was a sophomore in high school at the time when it came back, and he would have been an 8th grader. And I just remember my parents sitting us down in the living room and telling us, hey, your brother has a 7% chance to make it 6 months to a year if he does chemo and radiation. So kind of like a death sentence. And, that was the first time I really saw my dad kind of break down in tears and look at us in a way of this isn't good. I could see it on my brother's face. And I'd say that played a big part in our entire family's faith in the Lord. Some things my family did to draw us closer to the Lord. I just think continual talk about Jesus and having faith that he would answer prayers, sending Bible verses to each other daily. I don't know, and I think getting the community involved as well, I think there is power in prayer, and I think getting the community involved, holding some events for my brother, and really just sharing with others. I think he was a witness, even going through it, just in his faith and trust that, no matter what happens, everything was going to work out the way that the Lord wanted to. In 2019, I was going to a Bible study when I was in Phoenix, and I don't know why, I just felt like the Lord was saying, you need to go to this Bible study, and I brought a couple people with me. And when I was there, they started it off by saying, does anybody have something to share? And this was probably my second time going, but I hadn't met many of the people that were there this time. And out of nowhere, this chick was like, I have something to say for two people in the room. And for whatever reason, my heart started beating super hard. I was like, I feel like she's gonna say something to me. And I actually have it on my phone, what she said, but basically an abbreviated version was, she pointed across the room and looked at me and said, the Lord wants me to tell you this, the devil doesn't. He's really fighting me right now, but I need to share it with you. And I had been dealing with a lot of anxiety, been married for a couple years, was making no money, and really trying to provide for my wife and us. And that puts a lot of pressure on you as a husband to get to the big leagues, and things have changed in the minor leagues, so the pay is getting a little better. But she was like, look, the devil's fighting me, the Lord wants me to share it with you. And she started looking around the room and was like, I see you in a stadium right now. I think it's a baseball stadium, and there's angels, lights shining super bright, and I don't know what just happened, but you did something and won the game. And basically, the Lord wants you to share that it was him, not yourself, but that it was him. And he wants to rid you from all your anxiety, your stress. She just started listing off all these things. And I think after that, obviously I was super emotional, but writing that down in my notes and being able to go back and look at that and remember what she was saying to me, that all that the Lord wanted was me. Just give my life to him, and everything was going to be okay. And it took a lot of stress off me, for sure. Along the journey, I learned a lot of life lessons each season. Could be struggling with failure, struggling with, being away from family more. Maybe I was on a team where there wasn't a ton of believers around, and so it was one of those seasons where I had to figure out ways to, continue my journey with the Lord and staying close with the Lord, even though there wasn't a ton of people around. In 2021, I had a blood clot and I was super close to getting to the big leagues. It was one of those things where my numbers were really good. The word around the clubhouse and, the coaching staff and the organization was a call up would, probably be imminent if there was an injury. And I ended up getting a blood clot in my shoulder, had to miss the rest of the season. It was one of those things, I'm sitting in the hospital, just really felt the Lord, it's gonna be okay. Even though my earthly self was like, that was my one shot. I'm getting older. I was this close, but really felt the presence of the Lord sitting in that hospital bed saying everything's gonna be all right. That was something that I've always been able to go back to, just trusting that what I heard was from the Lord. If I have any advice to give to you, I think there's so many variables that change throughout the game of baseball. Location you're playing, maybe you're on a new team, you're traveling, maybe you're with family, not with family. But the one steady thing that you can have in your life is a relationship with the Lord, that you can go to Him anywhere, anytime. It doesn't have to be a specific place. It doesn't have to be in church. You might have friends and they might not be with you, but you can go to the Lord at any time.